First of all, I'm really glad that I'm in the presence of like a non-physical authority. Because
You always are, your non-physical authority. Oh, good words. That non-physical authority meaning supreme knowledge on a subject.
yeah.
You have an authority within you that is the supreme knower of who you have become. So your gut always tells you whether you're in tune or not. Jerry and Esther had a discussion this morning because something came up about something that Esther said, it just doesn't feel necessary to me or right to me. And Jerry said, well, let's talk to Abraham about it. And we said, there's no discussion to be had. You don't have to have further discussion about something that you have a feeling about. Trust your feeling, trust your feeling, trust your feeling. So we're done with you. Well, we just want you to know that you don't need us in this format in order to be in the presence of an authority that really serves you.
Yeah. Thanks. It's about meditation, though. My mother, when I was a child, had the Seth Speak books, and she had thousands of books, but those stuck out to me on the bookshelf, and I never read them. I maybe started to, but I couldn't read it. But then I went to Borders, and I picked up one of your discs, and the first thing you said is that when you found Seth Speaks, and Jerry did, because Jerry finds a lot of stuff. But I'm off the trail, but I started meditating, and I had an experience where I was meditating that really kind of scared me. And I don't know what I want to know about it.
You've said a lot, and let us give you some things back in response to what you've just said, because we know what you want to know. So here's the most important thing that we want to say to you. You've heard us step 1, step 2, step 3. Ask, source answers, you let it in. Meditation is the ultimate experience of letting it in. Because when you quiet your mind, you stop thought. And when you stop thought, you stop resistant thought. And when you stop resistant thought, your vibration raises. So if you're not really aware of what you're doing, you've been asking and asking and asking and asking. So there's a tremendous amount of pulling power from your vibrational escrow. And when you manage to have a successful meditation where you quiet your mind, you got a fast movement up the emotional scale into vibrational alignment. When Esther first meditated, she felt like she had put her toe in a light socket. In other words, the energy was so strong, and it frightened her too. So whether it's a visceral sensation or whether you had a auditory or visual experience where you saw things or heard things that you couldn't understand, in every case, it's just that you moved rapidly into that authority that we were talking about without really having prepared yourself to do it. A sort of quantum leap, which we don't recommend, but it turns out all right.
Okay, thank you.
So now let's talk about the Seth part. So Jerry was walking through a library one day, and in an impulse, he looked up and saw the book Seth Speaks. It was written in a way like this: Seth, like Abraham, flowing through a woman named Jane Roberts. So Jerry felt an impulse as strong as anything he's ever felt in his life to take that book down and open it. And when he did, the agreement of the source, the authority within him, rippled all over him. And his impulse was, I must have this book. There was a lot in the Seth books that did not interest Jerry and Esther at all. They didn't want to know about alternate realities. Jerry wanted to know how to make his life better and how to make it better enough that he would know it so they could teach it to others. That was his primary intent. He was already a teacher. He was already conducting seminars. He wanted to help people make their lives better. Esther wanted to live happily ever after. Esther was not a thinker. She was not contemplating things. She had not made her mind up for or against almost anything. She was just bipping along, living happily ever after. They were newly married. They had been married about 5 years at the time. They were living blissfully together. They had not one issue between the two of them about anything. They were pretty much retired. They were taking walks on the golf course every day. They were tuned in, tapped in, turned on in their love and appreciation of life and each other. And now Jerry is reading these books and he is on fire with questions. So Jerry, because of his powerful desire to have answers to questions, the books were written in a dialogue format, as you know, and Robert Butts, who was Jane's husband, would ask questions and Seth would dictate the answers and they would write them down and put them in books, so it was conversational. And then at the end of the evening, Seth would say, "Is there anything else? Do you have any more questions?" And Robert would say every night, "No, thank you." And Jerry and Esther would scream, "What?" Especially Jerry, he had hundreds of questions written in the margins and in the back of the book. He had made spreadsheets. His desire to understand this was intense within him, and Esther was just bipping along, living happily ever after. So then one day, someone gave them a recording and said, "You have to listen to this." A lot of people were giving them recordings in those days, and they didn't listen to any of them. But this one felt different. And so, as Jerry ask about it, "What is it?" They said, "Well, it's channeled." And that led to them going to someone who actually was having the experience where Esther asked the question, how can we more effectively achieve our goals? And Theo said, meditate. Well, meditate was just weird. They didn't know anybody who meditated that wasn't weird. They thought about people walking on hot coals and sleeping on beds of nails and standing at the airport on one foot, oming with their hand out. In other words, there was weirdness all around on this subject of meditation. And Esther said, "What do you mean?" And she was told, "Sit in a quiet room and wear comfortable clothing and focus on your breathing. And when your mind wanders, release the thought and focus on your breathing." And so Jerry and Esther left that gathering with that intention. And in Esther's first meditation, she received Abraham. Didn't know it, felt the power of it. Something breathed her. She knew it was good, she knew it was powerful, and it frightened her because her thought about what it was, I may be being possessed. I may have no control. In other words, her thoughts were not in harmony with what we know about it. But the experience was so vivid and so real that she never again questioned that there was something else out there and that whatever it was a sort of liquid love that had formerly been undefinable to her, but now she could define it because she had felt it herself. The divine was no longer hearsay. Infinite intelligence was no longer a myth. It was no longer someone else's experience. It was something that was real and true to her. And that's why we say to you, as you visit with us in this format, we do not hold these gatherings wanting you to come and sit at our feet and ply us with questions and honor our knowing. We want you to have this experience only in an understanding that you have access to all of this yourself, because you are all extensions of source energy, you see.
So should I quit coffee or something?
Well, whatever you do, don't give up the rascal that is you. There isn't anything that you should do or shouldn't do. There are only things that match who you've become and don't match who you've become. So, is there something that you seriously want to talk about?
Absolutely not.
Is it easy to think? Is it easy to feel? Is it easy to tell how the thought you think feels? Is there any more to it than that? Have we sort of ground this into the ground today? In other words, we're making far too much of all of this, aren't we? Find something to be happy about and focus on it and be happy. Then find something else to be happy about and focus on it and be happy. Then find something else to be happy about and focus on it and be happy. If you find yourself, by default, not watching what you're doing, stumbling onto something that doesn't feel happy when you focus upon it and don't feel happy until you can't stand not being happy, and then make a decision to focus upon something that feels happy and then focus upon it and be happy. That's pretty much it.
You have about 30 seconds.
Whether there's nothing more that we would give you, any of you, that will take you into greater clarity than what we have already achieved. We want to say to you that we found this particular gathering not only interesting, but highly productive in that we moved into places that we have not been before. This was a really powerful seminar where the nitty-gritty of your questions took us into places that we have not been before. Having said that, we want to leave you with something that we can feel has arisen as a result of the time that we've spent together today, and that is we are all making too much of all of this. In other words, thoughts create, and you have the ability to direct your thoughts. And as you direct your thoughts, your feeling about the thoughts that you're directing will improve. And if you will let your life be about reaching for the best feeling thought that you can find from wherever you are, the universe will continue to deliver to you more opportunities not only to expand, but more opportunities to revel in the deliciousness of what you have lined up. If we were standing in your physical shoes, we would vacillate between two intentions, and they are very simple intentions. The first one would be, I want to feel good as much as I can feel good, which means I'm going to pay more attention to how I feel, and I'm going to more deliberately guide my thought. And the second intention that we would leave this gathering with, which really falls on the basis of what we've just said, is, I am determined. And think of the power of the word determined. I am determined to tell the story, all stories, the story of my life, the story of my wishes, the story of my past, the story of my present. I am determined to tell my story of how I want it to be. So if people say, how have you been? Your answer is irrelevant. As people say, hi, how are you? The answer is irrelevant. Not that you're irrelevant. My story about how I am is irrelevant. My story about how I have been is irrelevant. You want to train people to say, hi, where are you going? Say to your friends, new plan. Hi, where are you going? Hi, what's up? Hi, tell me the good news. In other words, the new story, 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 because the old story is really old news. And the old story, you can't tell the old story and the new story at the same time. And the old story is counterproductive to what's in vibrational escrow. That's the new story. That's where you are. So begin telling the new story, and you'll get better and better at telling it. Tell it not because you're trying to use it to get to where you want to be. Tell the new story for the joy factor in the telling of it. So your friends are going to come to know you as the one who is always happy about explaining where you're going. It's the best teaching that you could ever do. Words don't teach. You teach through the clarity of your example. We have enjoyed this interaction immensely. There is great love here for you. And as always, we remain eternally and blissfully incomplete.